You don't have to go, you know. We can stay in all day.
I've already spent the whole weekend here. For all I know, I'm going back to a house that is turned upside down.
I thought you said Noah had settled down.
He did, or at least he has, for now. I mean, yes, it's true that all it takes for Noah to do something is for Rain to ask him to. But I don't know. I don't think that'll do it, not this time.
All the more reason to stay here with me.
Must I remind you that you have work to do? And so do I.
You're going back to work? Are you sure you're ready?
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm ready. I want to be ready. I want things to go back to normal again.
And they will. Before I forget, I was wondering if maybe we could go out to dinner. All 5 of us.
5 of us?
Jonah?
Oh, I don't know.
If he's going to be part of your life, then I'm going to need to get to know him.
Okay, I get that, but dinner with both Noah and Jonah at the same table? Noah would never go for
Then
it.
have Rain ask him.
I don't know.
Think of it this way. We'll go somewhere nice, classy, forced to be civilized. It'll give him a chance to actually sit together without shit hitting the fan for once.
All right, I'll talk to Noah. I'll see what I can do.
Good luck today.
Thank you. Bye.
He is not answering his phone! I've been calling him for days, and he's not—
Miss Williams, maybe you should sit down.
Have you talked to him?
Miss Williams.
When was the last time you spoke to Ezra?
Thursday. That was the last time I spoke to him.
Tell me he's not with her right now.
I don't—
You said you'd talk to her.
I did.
Tell me he's not with her right now.
I don't know.
What do you know?
I did talk to her, and she did leave, but he found out and went after her. I don't know if he's with her right now, but I know he wants to be.
You said you'd handle this.
There's nothing to handle. Ezra and Tresser are meant to be together, Miss Williams.
Get out of my face!
Well, aren't you all dressed up? You nervous about today?
A bit, yeah.
You're going to be great. Is that your boyfriend?
Dave? God, no!
Good. Good. I like that reaction. So you don't have a boyfriend?
No.
Good. Good. You're too young to date.
I'm 18.
Please, you're basically 3 years old.
I don't have a boyfriend because I don't date guys.
Oh.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay. And in fact, it's great. It's fantastic. I think it's great. Lesbians are great, unless you're bi, or pansexual, or asexual. Whatever it is, it's great. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have presumed.
It's fine. It's fine.
Hey, Rain, are you done? Because Raven's already here.
I'm all ready.
Okay, let's go.
Hey.
Hey. God, I don't know what I would do if you didn't work here with me. I don't think I could have handled it.
You would have handled it.
Is this a new issue?
Mm-hmm.
God, I miss writing. I know it's only been a week, but it feels like... Oh my god, what?
What? What is it?
Congratulations are in order to our very own Simon Harris for being acknowledged as one of North Carolina's most qualified photographers.
Nothing.
Are you kidding me? This is huge. I'm so proud of you. My office. Now. She's going to fire me.
No, she won't.
Dad went ahead and shut down hospital, and I'm going to get
Tress,
fired.
she's not going to fire you.
Who's going to buy a local newspaper with articles written by the town's mass murderer's daughter?
Okay, you're freaking out. Just go to the bathroom real quick. Settle down. You cannot panic like this when you meet up with her, okay?
Friends tell me it's spring.
I can't do it. I can't go in there.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
Finals are just around the corner, and with a full scholarship, you can't afford to have low
You don't
grades.
understand. I can't do it. I thought I'd be ready. I thought I'd be okay, but I won't. I'm not. I don't want to go in there. Everyone is going to be looking at me, talking about me. I can't handle it, Noah, please.
You're gonna be okay, Rain. You are the smartest, kindest, most talented person I know. Nothing will ever change that. Nobody could ever take that away from you. Okay?
Okay.
Preacher lost his son. He's known by all in town. He found him with another son of God.
You okay?
Yeah, Raven, I'm alright. It's just... she shouldn't be dealing with things like this.
I know it sucks,
but she's 18. She can handle it, and you need to let her alone. Come on, let's go grab some breakfast.
Simon, what can I do for you?
You're firing Tresser?
That, Mr. Harris, is none of your business.
Then I'm making it my business. If you fire her, I quit.
Excuse me?
And with all due respect, Mrs. Weber, I think you and I both know this magazine can't afford to lose me as a photographer.
Mr. Harris, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you're threatening me.
I'm giving you a heads up. Consider it my week's notice. If she's gone, I'm gone.
I'm not fired.
See? What did I tell you? You're too good of a rider to lose.
Oh, thank God. I don't know if I could have handled losing this, not with everything going on.
That's one thing you'll never have to worry about.
Okay, now fill me in on everything.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, this is my locker.
We're just checking. For precaution.
Precaution?
Well, you know what they say. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
For all we know, each one of you deranged river members have a little spot to shoot down.
I would-
Your father to hospital. You here?
I'd never do something like that. My dad, he was sick.
And check the bag she's holding.
Oh, she looks like she's about to cry. Let's get out of here.
She hasn't called or texted.
But that's good. Means she's doing fine.
I don't know.
I swear you did the girl wrong spoiling her this much. She's too dependent.
She's not too
By
dependent.
the time I was her age, I had cut my assholes of parents off, moved here from the city, all alone, on my own, and meanwhile, Rain's here with you like one step away from chewing her food for her. Hey, babe.
Hey. Noah, Tressa should be here soon. She said she wanted to talk to you, so don't go anywhere.
Got it.
Rivers, right?
For the 100th time, no. I did not know my dad was going to shoot down the hospital. Of course, if I had known my dad was planning on doing something like this, I would have said something. Yes, even though he is my father, yes, he did have mental problems, and no, it's nothing hereditary. I don't have any guns, or bombs, or swords, or ninja stars, or whatever else you can come up with in my bag, pockets, or my lockers. I'm just trying to make it through today, and every other day, and I would very much appreciate it if you would leave me the hell alone.
I was just...
Hey, how was it?
It was okay. I mean, there was a lot of staring and a lot more than I'm used to anyway.
Didn't anyone bother you about it?
No, nothing like that.
Good. That's good. I'm glad. I was worried.
I know, but I'm fine.
So, I've got some news that'll make you happy. We're going to a family dinner with Ezra tonight. all 4 of us. Would you look at that? Your face lit right up.
We're going to have a family dinner with Jonah?
I told you I tried, didn't I?
Oh my god, this is amazing, Noah. Thank you. It's just what I needed. Everything looks and sounds so good. I don't know what to choose.
Well, Ezra's paying, so you can just have one of each.
Let's not get crazy here.
Selfish bastard.
All right. That's enough out of you. Pick something before the waiter comes.
So, Ezra, what exactly do you do for a living to be able to afford covering all 5 meals at a place like this?
I'm an architect. I work at my family's.
And the whole running for mayor thing? Just for fun?
This town has seen a long line of mayors from my family, and my family alone. Politics has always just been expected of me, I guess.
A lot at stake, you staying with my sister then, yeah?
She's worth it.
I think I'm going to go with the steak.
Is it cooked with garlic?
I don't know. It doesn't mention anything.
Still, you shouldn't risk it. You know what garlic does to you. Make sure you ask him before you order it.
Can you ask him for me, please?
Okay. What are you gonna have?
I don't know. I don't feel like steak.
Excuse me.
Ezra, what are you going to have? I'm thinking pasta. Ezra.
I'm sorry?
What are you going to order?
I'll have whatever you're having. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Anything I can do for you, Ezra?
Do you have a problem with me?
How would I have a problem with you? I hardly know you.
Because it sounded like you had a problem out there.
I've heard some things. Can't say I don't have my doubts. But that's what tonight's all about, isn't it? Getting to know you myself. To make sure you're the right fit for my sister.
Is that what you think this is about? Getting your approval? No. That's not what tonight's about. See, tonight's about getting to know you as a person. Getting to decide if I'm going to let you stay here around Tresor and Rain and Noah.
This is my family you're talking about.
Jonah, who are you trying to kid here? I mean, seriously now, they have not been your family for a really, really long fucking time. 15 years. That's a long time. And I get it. You're back. You're trying to redeem yourself, and I admire that. But you don't get to just walk in here back in their lives like you had just left.
I'm not going to listen to this.
Your mother passed on November 6, 2001. You know how I know that? Because I visited your mom's grave on that day every year for the past 10 years with Tresor. I've been with her through it all. Every part of it. And let me tell you this. When I first met her, she was broken. I mean, she had her shit together because she's Tresor and she's fucking amazing, but she was broken. So I'm sorry, Jonah. I really don't care if you like me. In fact, I really don't care if you hate me. But I love your sister. And I'm going to protect her at all costs, which includes making sure Tresor never has to feel that way again. So if you're here, I need to know you're here to stay.
I am. I'm here to stay.
Okay. All right, we should head back before Tresor starts to worry. You and Noah don't talk.
Oh, well, I talk. He scoffs and walks away. We kind of have a routine going on.
No, I mean, you and Noah don't talk, so when you said you heard some things about me, who did you hear them from?
Oh, I didn't mean it.
It's Simon, isn't it? Of course it is. Well, let me tell you one thing about Simon. You shouldn't take anything he says accountable. Not when it comes to Tresor and I, anyway.
What do you mean?
Well, for one thing, he's in love with her.
Simon? Tress? No.
I'm telling you. Since as long as I've known both of them, he's been head over heels obsessed with her. Maybe even before that.
But he's with Raven.
Raven? Oh, you mean that young model he's been sleeping around with? Just someone he keeps himself busy with while he waits for Tresor and I to fight or drift or whatever, so he can swoop.
No. Simon's not like that. He's been my best friend my entire life. He's never hurt a fly. He wouldn't pull something like that.
You haven't talked to the guy for 15 years, Jonah. People change.
I've never been so full in my life. Everything was so great. Thank you, Ezra.
You're welcome.
I'll start the car.
I'm going to stay with them tonight.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. I love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
What do you want?
That's no way to greet your mother. We need to talk about the elections.
There's nothing more to talk about.
Like hell there isn't! You're dropping out?
I'm not dropping out. But I'm not going to leave Tresor either. If I happen to win, then great. If I lose, then there's always next time.
There's always next time? That's what you're going with?
Good night, Mother.
You're fired.
What?
You're fired. Effective immediately.
You can't be serious.
When you were 21 years old and your father fell ill, you turned down the chance of being substitute mayor because you wanted to pursue your career, missing out on the opportunity of being the youngest mayor this town has ever seen. 4 years later, When the running for mayor was reinstituted, you dropped out because you were grieving.
Dad had just died.
And for the first time in 37 years, this town saw a mayor that was not one of our own. Now it's 4 years later, and the running for mayor is once again in action. And you're here telling me there's always next time?
I don't even know what you want me to say.
I want you to tell me that you're actually going to make something out of yourself.
But I have. I have made something out of myself. Why can't you see that? It may not have been what you wanted. It may not have been the life you had imagined for me, but it's my life. I have a job I feel passionate about, a fiance I can't imagine my life without, and I'm happy. I'm happy, please.
My sweet boy. You're fired.
Mom.
And I'll also be closing the 2 out of 3 bank accounts of yours that are under our family's name, under my name, and I'll be confiscating your car and your cabin in Lake Murray. Or you can come to your senses and end your relationship with Tresser.
Mom. Mom!
By the end of this year, you will become Mayor, Ezra. Even if I have to rip you away from everything you've ever cared about to see it happen.